Topping Talks. $105 hours a week can't be beat. Welcome to Topping Talks. Topping Talks is a Topping Tribune production, and today's episode is probably sponsored by Topping Technologies and ExpressVPN. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's a joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, are you part of the 3.6% of Americans who still care about their privacy? If you are the perfect, ExpressVPN can assist. Even though 96% stats are made up on the spot, ExpressVPN does give 100% guarantee via their 30-day back money guarantee. Now, without further ado, today I'm proud to say I'm interviewing good old Josh, who is the founder of Relentless Motorsports.
What's up?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
No problem. This is the second time around, man, but it's great. I love it. I enjoyed the last time, so.
Part two. Let's have you bring that up to your mouth real quick. Yep. About that much away. Giddy up.
So, what's good?
I was going to say, it's been almost a lifetime or so, it feels like. How's business been going?
Business has been pretty good. Just current economic times with shit going on and all that, you know, things are kind of, it's definitely a learning curve, but building business and growing stuff it's always a constant learning curve. You got to adapt and evolve and adapt and evolve and adapt and evolve. When you become complacent and steady, it's when you flop. So
true. And what's your business do? Just for the folks who are hearing from you for the first time.
I remanufacture and private label manufacture circuit boards and electronic devices for the automotive industry.
And what's your specialty? Or what's your favorite thing to work on?
My favorite thing to work on, just because of my past of growing up in the automotive space, doing performance and turning wrenches and doing all this other stuff before I got down to the electronic part of stuff, is I'm a 90s baby, so I grew up, I like 90s cars, you know, old Toyotas, old Nissans, you know. We grew up in that I hate to give it the credit, but the Fast and the Furious age, you know, Gran Turismo and... So, yeah, you know, it's I like 90s cars.
I mean, we hate to give it credit, but I mean, let's be honest. How much of the allure of owning a Mark IV Supra is just because of that movie?
I don't know. Believe it or not, I actually saw the Supras before that because there was a couple in town. Yeah.
Really? That's the first time I ever saw one.
I've always liked Supras. Honestly, what got me into Supras was... I don't remember if it was the game at the arcade Cruising USA. I don't know if you remember that.
I had the one for the N64.
Or if it was on the original PlayStation. I mean, last podcast we talked to, I mean, if people go back on your channel, they can see. I grew up pretty darn poor. But I used to have friends that had cool stuff, so I'd hang out there. And it could have been Gran Turismo. It was either Gran Turismo, I think it was Gran Turismo 2, the Castrol Supra.
Oh, yeah.
The white one with the red and green on it. It said Castrol on it and all that other stuff. The Japanese GT Touring Car Series one. I saw that, and I thought that car was I thought it was cool looking.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And then, of course, when Fast and the Furious came out, and, you know, Brian O'Connor's, you know, jumping railroad tracks and an orange one with the Bomex body kit on it, I thought it was pretty sweet.
The big pointing graphic.
Yeah. You know, that 90s period correct. Actually, at my shop right now, I have a customer's car that's kind of 90s period correct. It's got the graphics and everything on it.
From the movie?
Yeah. Oh, well, not from the movie, but it's a 90s build. It's got it's got the C West front bumper on it. It's got the old school wheels on it.
Really?
It's got the color matched interior. It's kind of the 90s tuner. It's like a time capsule, but
that's
unfortunately.
Awesome.
It's sat for years, and it needs all sorts of love, but I'm giving it to it.
Was it stored outside, or what's the situation like, and how'd the customer find you for that project?
The customer found me, actually, I was leaving a car meet, and me and my wife were on the way home, and I was in my Supra.
Oh, yeah?
And I turned a corner. At first, I thought it was a second-gen Eclipse. An old school whale-tail DSM with the little arch spoiler on the back, because on the back, at first glance out the corner of your eye, kind of looks like a Supra.
Oh yeah, like the green. And when
I look at her, I'm like, man, I haven't seen a GSX Eclipse in forever. And sure enough, we turn the corner. I'm like, oh shit, no, that's a Mark IV Supra. And I'm in one. The guy noticed it. He starts slowing down. We get up. He's like, that's a sweet car. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. Hey, he's like, next gas station, pull over. We pulled over and we talked, and turns out he owns 4 of them.
4?
Yeah, and his name's Javad. He's a really nice guy. He's like you. He's in IT and cybersecurity. He's pretty cool. Anyway, he invites me over to his house, and we start talking Supras, and he finds out that I can fix that. He's like, well, brother, my cars all need to be restored. There's a bunch of issues. Will you work on it? At first, I was like, no, I just do circuit boards. I don't work on nobody's car no more. And as we get to know each other, me and the guy actually became really good friends. So it just kind of became this grandfathered in, like, exception deal. I was like, all right, cool. I'll work on your stuff, but don't tell your friends I'm doing this for you, you know? But yeah, I have one over there right now. It's a factory. I believe it's a 96. Last time I looked at the door sticker, I think it's a 96. It's a factory. It's a non-turbo Supra, but it's a factory manual.
Nice.
So it's 5-speed still. Still got the NA trans, the W58.
Really?
But yeah, it's somebody's converted it to a turbo motor. It's got a 2JZ GTE in it, and it's got the turbo diff in it. It's got the LSD diff. I found that out the other day. I slid it around the corner being stupid. I got it running right, finally.
How did you get to run the right? Or what was the first diagnostics like?
So somebody had tried tuning it. It's on a standalone ECU. And they knew enough to get the car to start and kind of sort of idle and run. If you kept your foot on the gas and drove around, you could drive it, but it ran real rich and it bogged. And when you tried to get in boost, it would either cut up or it would literally just load up with fuel, which was kind of cool. When you let off, it shot big old fireballs out the back.
Yeah.
And you heard it. You heard a concussion, felt it in the floor of the car. But I just dialed it in. I cleaned it up and did a mild tune-up on it, new plugs. Supras are notorious, the turbo models, with the 30-year-old coil packs. The plastic gets stress cracks.
Really?
In it. So what happens is the stress cracks are on the shaft where the electrode goes, where it clips on the top of the spark plug, and it can actually shoot. So instead of getting direct spark to the plug, it'll arc out there, and it'll arc off the head, so you lose spark. So what I did, it's a little trick I'm going to tell people right now. I actually took glue-lined heat shrink, which is made by Raychem. I went ahead, it's aviation grade stuff, it's glue lined, it's really good, chemical resistant. Put heat shrink up the tube and heat shrunk it, and it keeps the arcs from going, because the coil still works, it's just it's old cracks.
So it's just the casing that's hurting.
It's just a casing that's hurting, and new coil packs are about $1,000.
Really?
For 6 individual Denso brand coils, yeah.
Like vintage factory old new stock, or is that just brand new manufacturer? Who supports it at this point?
Denso still makes them. Denso made them for Toyota, so now if you go to Toyota, I don't know if Toyota will sell them anymore, but Denso does, and actually I have on my turbo Lexus, I have a Lexus with a Supra motor swapped in it, and I did about 3 years ago, I did new coils because mine were cracked, and I did the spark plug, or the heat shrink. I did it for a while, but after a while, the upper body where the electrodes are up in the top, which you can't heat shrink, started cracking, and moisture got in, and one of them went bad. I went in, and actually I went online. I bought OEM Denso ones. I think I bought them off Rock Auto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when it comes right where my old one said, because the old one says Toyota manufactured by Denso CO Japan, whatever. This one says Denso CO Japan, and where the Toyota logo was, it literally looks like at the factory they take a Dremel tool and it was shaved off. It's the same exact coil. But yeah, that was before we got our lovely president, and everything went up to the ceiling. I think back then they were like $600. I think it was like $100 each coil. And there's 6 individual coils.
And now they go for like $1,200?
It's like I think it's like $1,000 for Denso ones.
Oh my God, really? $1,000?
Yeah. And you know something? It's sad because it's old technology. They're not even smart coils. They have this goofy igniter off on the side and all. You could literally go get newer coils off of like an Audi, Audi R8 or GTR, the Hitachi coils from the R35 GTR. I found a way to get him to work with the factory ECU.
Oh, really?
But him being on a standalone, you can scale it in to run it. It's not an issue. A standalone computer is a blank slate. You can put whatever you want.
So what's a standalone for the folks who aren't technically inclined or automotive inclined?
So so your factory computer is pretty much, some factory computers can be tuned and altered. The Toyota ones are a locked unit. They can't be altered. You can't change any parameters. You can't change functionality of it. It's programmed by the factory, and you buy it, and it is what it is.
You can't easily just flash it and give yourself more horsepower.
You can't take off the governors. You can't do nothing. You know. functionality, they're great. They work every time.
Of
but
course.
if you're into modifying cars, it kind of becomes a burden on you. So us Supra guys, we have to go buy aftermarket computers that are a blank slate, and they're universal. One size fits all. Whatever you build it, or whatever you adapt it into, it runs. You know, you got to build wiring harness, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So you build these harness. So we swap these into the Supras, and it's a modern computer. It's modern technology.
Nice.
It has more functionality, so you can put more triggers. Like the older cars didn't have electric fans. These can control electric fans. It does it. So it just opens up the car. Well, his car's got one in it, and yeah, I had to balance all that out. But anyway, I kind of got off subject.
No,
but,
good.
But the standalone computer, basically, it just allows you to it gives you a blank sheet of paper, and then you can literally enter your build, what's in. You know, I'm running these coil packs, I'm running these spark plugs, I'm running these fuel injectors, I'm running this many fuel pumps, this size fuel pump, this, and then this turbo, and then you can just dial it in to make it function.
So all the 1,000 horsepower plus Supras, they have that.
They're
that
all on
methodology.
standalone.
Yeah.
They're all on standalone. You know what's
And
funny?
what did the guy do to it? So it sounded like the guy who actually did he just program it wrong? So is it too much fuel pumping out, or
It was the timing, ignition timing was a little off. The fuel was way off. And then just some other stuff. They should have put new plugs in it when they tuned it. They had old plugs in it that were like oil soaked and just corroded and nasty because it looked like valve cover gasket was leaking and oil got. It was somebody that knew enough to get themselves in trouble, but that's about all they knew.
yeah?
So I had to go back over it, but it runs good now.
So-
It runs really good now.
What was the first thing you had to do to make it run good, or kind of
First
fix
things
it?
first, I went ahead and I got those old crusty spark plugs out of that thing. That was
Yep.
done deal.
Really? That's
So-
there you go.
First thing was spark plugs. After the spark plugs, I went ahead and I pulled the fuel injectors out of it, and I went ahead and I cleaned the fuel injectors, made sure they weren't all gum up with carbon, and
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of gas he was running in it. It should have been 93
Yeah.
octane, but you know,
Maybe-
who knows?
Maybe a silly question, fact or myth. Does it matter what gas station you go to, or do you have like a preference for that? Or I know some guys swear by like a certain gas station.
I like using either Sunoco, which there are none out by us where I'm at,
No,
or Shell. But I mean, at this point, man, gas is gas. It's all.
they all kind of like the chicken. They all have their 11 herbs and spices they say makes them extra special. Like I think actually only see like one Sunoco in Texas is on the track. That's the only time I've seen it.
I've seen a couple Sunocos out here, but they're few and far between.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think on the last night when I was driving my personal Supra, I stopped at Racetrack. I just put Racetrack 93 in it.
There you
My
go.
turbo Lexus, everybody's like, oh, I got E85 ethanol from Kroger. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, gas is gas.
Yeah.
I have an air fuel ratio gauge on there. I can watch how it's burning. I can see how it's burning. So if it's crap gas, I know, hey, okay, I got junk gas. I drive it easy until all that junk burns out, and then I go put good stuff in and go beat the crap out of it some more. I mean,
There you go.
you just got to pay attention to your surroundings. I mean,
Exactly.
isn't that the story of life?
It's very true. So
But-
it sounds like the guy, you first changed the spark plugs, switch out the housings a little bit. What was the third step? And
Just going through the computer and seeing with the laptop hooking up and data logging and seeing what was and what wasn't, and just seeing what it was and just kind of cleaning it up a little bit.
did the laptop ever say error manifold destroyed?
No, the floorboards didn't fall out of it either.
No. And if someone doesn't get that reference, then my heart's gonna be broken.
So yeah, Fast and Furious.
Right, yeah.
So I did that, and then the car's just sat for a long time, so it's got a whole enchilon plethora of just issues. It's got blown bushings underneath it.
Yeah.
The other day I was having fun. I was going from second gear. I shifted into the third while I was burning out, and I could literally feel the subframe walking side to side under the car and stuff. And this thing, and I'm in
Really?
here just going, sweet baby Jesus, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die today.
So is the only way to really fix that just strip it down, like just
I'm
replace all the bushing?
gonna be stripping it down and putting
Really?
polyurethane bushings in it, because the factory bushings are just they're
I mean, by now they're gotta be
they're
decomposing.
dry. They're
Yeah.
dry rot. They're fall. I haven't looked under it yet, but I can definitely feel it.
Yeah.
It literally feels the steering rack bushings and the rack and pinion, which is what connects the steering wheel to the wheels.
Yeah.
The bushings that are in that are non-existent. So when you're driving down the road, you want to like move lanes instead of just lightly turn the wheel. You got to like overcompensate.
Oh, jeez.
And then as it goes, you got to like catch it. It's like, it feels like you're driving a boat.
Oh, jeez.
It's like it feels like you're trying to fight waves, push it.
The Supra's become the Cadillac.
It's sketchy.
Oh man, it's scaring me.
It's sketchy. And if Javad sees this, hey Javad, I like you, man. No disrespect, and we're getting this car right, and I love the car. And it's a fun car, but literally, dude, I call it spicy ricey. That thing's spiced out, man. It makes you pucker a little bit. You get in it and you contemplate life because it feels like it wants to kill you.
So is the engine now tip-top shape, or what other mods do you have to do to the engine? And does he want to build it to 1,000 horsepower plus?
I don't know what he wants to do with the engine. So somebody else took the factory twin turbos off of it.
What? Why?
Last time I saw the car, it had a cheap Chinese
like Wish.com
single turbo kit. I think it was from.
Who cheaps out on a Supra? Like of all the
he's had the cars for years. I think he's had the car for years. So shop in California, and the owner, I don't really care for him. He's kind of scummy. Yeah. But I'm not here to throw names under the bus. We have our differences.
It's just not the top quality turbo kit.
We should probably bleep that out. I don't even want to say his name.
But that's fine.
Anyway, what he did was he would buy Chinese turbo kits, and he would doctor them up to make them a little bit better, and then he'd sell it as a doctored up.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that if he's modifying it and people know what they're getting.
As a budget friendly turbo kit, for the guy that just wants to go. It wasn't a bad thing. Problem is they were a knockoff of Garrett turbos, and they just had
sued. I bet.
No, I don't know if they got sued or not, but the turbo that he had on it, when the car first came to me, because this is the second time I've had it in my possession. Yeah. First time, the turbo had a bunch of shaft play in it, which means the turbo's bad. It was burning a bunch of oil. It wasn't winding up, spooling up, building boost right. And it's just, I don't know. It was just, and whoever put the turbo kit together, they didn't run lines right and everything. So I told him I'd fix it, and then I got real busy and didn't have time. So he took it back, and he took it to another shop, and they wound up, I referred him to actually the shop, which is Art of Assembly. Roman Kostev, he's a really good guy. He's a friend of mine as well. So Roman wound up converting it to a high dollar, like really well built turbo kit that was built by Powerhouse Racing out here in Texas, local Texas company. They're out in Fort Worth.
Oh, nice.
So it's got a better quality manifold on it. It flows better. It's got a quality turbo on it now. All that. So now that the car's running right and stuff, and you can actually drive it. I know it's starting to puff a little smoke out the back, and I know it's not the turbo. It's brand new, and I've done some testing. It's going to have to go in to get valve seals done, the seals that go around the valves. So when the motor starts getting up to operating temp and metal starts expanding, it starts puffing little bits of residual, like waste oil out through the downpipe, and it comes out and smokes and fogs the intersection out and stuff. So that, I don't know if he wants to take it to one of his guys or if I'm going to pass it on to one of my buddies in the industry. I'm not set up for that. I'm an automotive electronics company. I'm doing this as an in-between jobs. I'm doing this for him. Like if I want to get out and, see the sun for a little bit, you know? But other than that, as far as business, business right now is doing pretty good.
Here, pulled up to you about that much. There you go. Perfect. Thanks.
Business is doing pretty good. And just trying to adapt. I'm trying to get into other markets right now. I don't want to say what markets, because in case of, other people seeing this, got to kind of keep
it on down low. That's cool.
You got to keep your moves silenced and let them talk when they happen. But, I'm trying to get into other markets. I'm also trying to get into technology as well outside the automotive stuff and do, because a circuit board's a circuit board, electronics are electronics. If you're a nerd, you're a nerd. I'm a nerd. So what I'm trying to do, and this I'll let out a little bit, I'm trying to get into medical technology, starting to do stuff for the medical industry.
That's cool.
So that, because I see where the automotive culture is going now and how they're trying to push everything into EVs. And a couple of the little things in Tesla that I look into and stuff, it's all proprietary stuff. It's stuff that you can't buy, and Tesla ain't going to sell it to me. So guess what? Me being a remanufacturer, Tesla's going to tell me, hey, dude, they're going to buy a new one. Go kick rocks. I'm not. So it's like I'm trying to set myself up. And in business, you shouldn't have a plan B. Like you need to be all in on plan A. Yeah. If you give yourself somewhere else to run, you're not going to focus hard.
It's true.
On it. It needs to be do or die, not, oh, well, if I fall in the pool and I can't swim, I got swimmies, fuck it, So, but at this point in time, you have to adapt, and I feel this is more an adaptation because of the market and the way that's going, and as far as electrical technology and just stuff like that. Medical industry is booming in technology. Car stuff is. Medical technology, though, it's still circuit boards. It's circuit boards. This stuff's all proprietary stuff. I can't get this. This stuff here, I might be able to start still fixing EKG machines,
That's
whatever.
True.
Or even help, or even create something to help aid people with ailments that they have. I just feel that the automotive industry, if we keep going down the rabbit hole we're going, I don't know what it is. I mean, there is things where people are starting to realize that they're not buying this EV junk, and they're starting to go to hydrogen, which we'll probably use in ECU. So maybe I'll move. Maybe I'll split down the middle and go half and half. I just don't know what it is.
I mean, we've been talking hydrogen for 20 plus. Like I read one of my favorite books is called Driven. And it's about the history of BMW. And the book ended around 2000 in terms of when it was written. And even back then, they were talking about how hydrogen is the future. They have working prototypes. I mean, I just interviewed someone who works at Toyota, and they have a racing Corolla GR that is hydrogen based, and it's fantastic. The issue is right now, again, there's a caveat because it's technology, and something could always happen tomorrow. But the issue is just the ability to economically process, manufacture, distribute the hydrogen. Because again, that's what Nikola, the automotive company Nikola, they claim to be revolutionary. They would have been the next Tesla if they actually had what they claimed to have, which they claimed to have a proprietary technology or methodology to actually process the hydrogen. Turns out it's vaporware. It's all BS. But yeah, no, I mean, all the automotive companies have the prototypes for hydrogen. It looks like it works. It does, but that's the issue I see there. And with EVs, you can't. That's the biggest issue that I don't like about EVs is I can't have you fix my EV. Like it's all locked in like a smartphone.
It's not even, and I mean, I say this and a lot of people frown upon it, but it's just like, me being a car guy, and even if I wasn't a car guy and I was looking for a commuter, I'm looking to buy a car.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm not looking to go buy an Android phone. And they're Android phones. Yeah. Literally, you got to get on Wi-Fi and let the piece of crap update.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want my car to update. I bought my car. I like it the way it is.
I mean, the only silver lining to that is it can also be fixed remotely. That is kind of a benefit. You can have like recalls aren't really a recall.
That is cool too. And call me a tinfoil hat wearing fool, but what else can they do?
Well, have you heard about the patents that Ford filed in 2023 for being able to recall cars? It's like Ford again. Now there's so much public backlash that Ford actually have you ever heard of a business doing this? Ford actually let the patent go away. So they successfully got a patent to remotely recall your car if you miss a payment. So if you have a car that's an EV,
repossess your vehicle.
Yes. And they also have a patent where if you're behind on your payments, they could turn off your AC or your radio.
Well, I heard something about BMW charging you a subscription for the heated seats in your car. Like,
well, they tried it for like a week or a month. There's so much backlash. But yeah.
But I just, me being a business guy, I mean, every business got to be, the object is to make money and to provide. But you got to be able to make money. I feel you need to provide. You need to make your customers happy. You need to give them what they want, and you need to stand by your product. Trying to literally strong arm rob them after they've bought your pile of junk.
Yeah,
that's not right, dude.
It sucks. I mean,
we're becoming a valueless society. Everything is about greed and the latest. Don't even get me started on that. Like, I could literally.
I mean, from a manufacturing perspective, I understand why BMW does it because, again, the more different the cars are, the more expensive it is to manufacture, the logistics. If every car is the same in terms of they have all the same components, and all I have to do is turn a switch on at the factory and enable a feature, I understand that decreases the cost of the car, but to me, like, ironically, I work in tech, but I prefer kind of old school cars with a stick shift. And the only thing I really want in my car is like a heated seat. I appreciate that technology.
I'm the same way. Like, people, they find out I do automotive electronics and that I fix other things here and there and all that. Like, dude, and then they see me fumbling over my phone. I'm like, how do you save this name? They're like, dude, aren't you in like technology? Don't you? I don't hate.
Yeah.
But I like more analog. It's funny. I do it for a living.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, also, like in terms of technology and kind of the automotive culture, do you think we'll see a culture where, like, not back in the day, throughout our lifetimes and several decades, you have the hot riders, and people want to custom their car to make maximum horsepower, maximum performance. I mean, it used to be flashing ECU. That used to be really controversial.
Flashing ECUs, adding pistons, cams, nitrous, whatever. But with an EV, you can't do that.
Because you're locked in with the software. The only person, like, you ever watch Rich Rebuilds on YouTube?
No.
So, like, he was the first person, he did the V8 swap on the Tesla, but he also, like, he actually repaired the Tesla. He had to pay hackers just so he can do supercharging again because Tesla remotely shut off his ability to supercharge his car. So, like, it almost has to be the point where if you want to, quote unquote, modify your EV or make it, more performance, you almost have to be more of a hacker than a gearhead these days.
It's not even that. I mean, I think in the future, if we went EV, eventually society will adapt.
Yeah.
Just like when my father was getting into cars growing up, it was carburetors and the fuel injection was the devil, and now fuel injection's the hot thing. Even the older hot rodder guys are now converting their stuff for fuel. And it might be like that. I mean, history does repeat itself.
True.
But, maybe we'll find out that if you take this battery pack from a Tesla and you put this battery pack and what's the other corny EV out there that's like a Lucid a Lucid Air, and you put the charging generator or whatever the heck they call it. I don't know much about EVs from this brand in here, and you mismatch it together. That thing picks up 600 horsepower, and it's got better throttle. Who knows?
That'd be kind of interesting to do. That'd be cool if you had unlimited money to do like random funny stuff, like a custom build where you do actually have. And I don't know if it. I mean, you can mix parts with PCs. Have different RAM, different different CPU. I don't know how much of a software engineer you'd have to have all those components work together. That'd be an interesting custom build.
That is way above my IQ level.
Oh, I say. But do you think EV, the trend? So if you look at the trend in the automotive community, the fastest growing, or I say automotive community, automotive sales in North America, the fastest growing trend right now is hybrids. People are putting the brakes, pun moderately intended, on EVs. Do you think EVs will catch on more or less in the next 24 months or 48 months?
Honestly, I think in the next couple of years, from being in the industry and honestly looking at it, if you get politics out of it, they're doomed. Just like in the past, they've tried making EVs back in the day.
That's true.
I think Chevy had it, like back in the day. I forgot.
They had the Chevy. Well, I think it's just called the EV1. I don't know if it was actually a brand by General Motors or whatever, by Chevrolet,
but it died.
But GM made it.
It died.
Well, but the issue back then was they were losing money in so that was a lease agreement with GM, but they were losing money. They couldn't do it.
They're losing money now.
For now, so Mary Barra claims that they'll make money Q4 on EVs. Now Ford lost $136,000 or $32,000 per EV sold Q1 this fiscal year.
Well, that's good.
It's like, eventually they'll make a profit.
It's this mixed emotion.
Yeah.
You got consumers, and then you have the auto enthusiasts. Like,
true. And the auto enthusiasts, there's not enough of us to make
smelling.
Gas.
Gas and smelling a
burning
little burnt oil and burning rubber. And, I like, especially 90s stuff. I don't like assist. I like that very analog, manual, clunky, throw it around a corner and you feel it. Not something where a bunch of lights are going to flash on the dash and it's going to come back and come perfectly straight.
Cars were tougher back then. And
it's not even about, like, for me, it's not even about the make or model or brand of car. It's about the experience you have when you drive it.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing in terms of, thanks to EV, that trend, now horsepower really isn't a big deal because every EV's got 700 plus horsepower. That metric's done. The 0 to 60 time, those metrics are done. So like the few sports cars that you and I like that are left, they're all like Porsche. They know they don't need to have a 2,000 horsepower car. What people want driving a Porsche is the experience. They want that stick shift. They want to go around a corner and downshift.
I mean, humans, and this I've noticed this just from being in sales and building a couple companies over. Like, we base our thoughts on how things make us feel, which is an emotion, And I feel that the electric car gig, unless if you're some tea sipping
British
pansy that's totally not into cars at all, and you're lazy and incompetent and can't drive, sure, a car that can drive you by itself, and that's great. And I mean, if you want quiet and you want just to listen to elevator music on the way to work, by all means, that's your gig. I'm not judging. You might be one of the nicest people in the world. I don't care. But me, It's just there's no emotion behind it.
Well, speaking of British, did you hear about Aston Martin?
Yeah, they're making gas engines.
They just backtracked. Like, we're not going to go all in on EV. We're going to still make V12s. Which, I mean, if you want to...
I think Lamborghini did that too.
Well, the new Lamborghini is going to have a hybrid. Well, they have a hybrid. So I have the V10 as well as the electric motor thing.
I am with the hybrid stuff. I do like the hybrid stuff because it's an assist.
Even for sports cars, though?
Yeah. Well, your turbo's winding up. You got an electric motor, and then up top where it dies out, you got your all the fun noises up top.
But to me, it's the battery. Like, do you ever watch, what was it, Tavares rebuilding the McLaren P1 that was flooded? The battery's $250,000 for a battery.
You know his buddy Jared?
Yeah.
Jared Pink? Mm-hmm. His Mark III Supra, his right-hand drive Supra.
Yeah.
I actually built the computer that's in it.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually in one of his videos.
I need to check that out. That's very cool.
It's his other channel, though. It's not with Chavaris. It's just Jared. He has one by himself. I think it's called Wrench Every Day.
Yeah, I need to check that out. I'll put it in bio or I'll put it in the description of this so people can check it out too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it was a couple years ago I did. But yeah, Jared's a good guy. I'm friends with Jared. Jared's good people.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, hybrids, I understand, and I know a lot of people like them. That's where the market's going.
I don't really, per se, like them, but I see possibilities in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely see the possibilities. To me, again, being the old soul, like I want my car to last me like 50 years until I die or something like that.
Well, dude, you saw what I drove here in today. Oh,
exactly.
A Mark IV Supra.
I think it's legendary because there's no. I mean, it's relatively simple in terms of automotive technology. There's not a battery. It's not an extra computer. You know what I mean? There's a lead acid battery, but yeah, those really big, expensive batteries that go bad with the hybrids. That's still the Achilles. That's still the Achilles heel for now. Again, we might have new technology tomorrow that has a battery that'll last 100 years. Maybe.
Or they might find a way to make it recharge while it's driving sufficiently. I
mean, the regen's gotten better and better. So, I mean, that's good for the technology. But, I mean, also with the EVs, I mean, without that $7,500 tax subsidy, how many people would be buying EVs? I'm a little skeptical.
I don't know.
Because, I don't know. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think the trend's going to slow down because, again, to me, EVs are also a big, big luxury item. And in 2024, people don't have a lot of money for luxury items, I don't think. So I think we're going to see a lot of people buying hybrids, even with the high interest rates this year. And a lot of people trying to find affordable gas cars, too, which is hard.
Maybe. I don't know. But like I said, with business, I'm trying to... So,
have you seen things slow down in terms of... Have you seen, like, was a majority of your portfolio in terms of what you're working on, is it changing in terms of you used to work on a certain type of car, now it's different, or how things been going this year?
Yeah, I'm starting to see the stuff from the late 80s when fuel injection was starting to pop off.
Oh, really?
To early 90s, which was real big for me. I'm slowly starting to see that die off.
Really?
And now I'm starting to get into the early to mid 2000s range.
Yep.
So I feel like my life as far as business is starting over again. I'm having to relearn newer components, newer technology, reverse engineer all, because I have notes I've made on all this other stuff over the time.
Yeah.
And now the new stuff I'm looking at and I'm having to figure it all out again. It's like, ooh, what does this do? You know, what does that control? Holy crap, what is that? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of becoming interesting. It's kind of becoming fun all over again because I was starting to get kind of burnt out. But
well, that's the nice thing about collectibles. Like we see this with every generation. Like my buddies will collect video game consoles. You know, every couple of years you have a new generation that wants to collect the things that they had when they were a kid. So like 10 years ago the Nintendo NES was really hot, and then came the Super Nintendo.
Still have one.
They're awesome, and then now the N64 is topping off in terms of popularity. It's just nostalgia. Every generation is going to want their toys that they couldn't have when they were a kid. So I'm not surprised you're seeing that in your business too with the cars.
That's why I have a Supra.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just adapt or die, man.
What kind of new vehicles do you see, or relatively new generation to your business are you seeing lately?
I'm starting to see a lot of newer Toyotas. I've been really big in the Toyota community for years because of my background.
Yeah.
As far as racing and doing stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot of newer Lexuses, newish. I should say not newer, but newish Lexus. So like
what year is talking?
A lot of 2003 and up. Lexus LS 430s.
Is that your red one? What kind is your red one? I forgot.
My red car's old, man. It's a 93 Lexus SC300.
Oh, really?
That stuff has phased out. I don't even every once in a while I'll see something for that. But a lot of it now is like LS430s, GX470s, you know, for like early 2000s and up.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean like 2000, I mean like 2003, 2004 and up. Like the woman that just called right before we started recording this podcast, and you heard me.
Yeah.
She's got a 2006 Lexus IS250.
Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to see a lot of stuff like that, IS250s, and it's weird because the newer cars, their boards, I've become real good at board level repairs. So, you know, transistors, diodes, capacitors, all this on boards going back. Then these new ones, that stuff's not old enough yet to go bad.
Really?
That stuff's not.
Yeah.
What's happening with the newer ones now is software. So now I'm going from
Really?
I'm going from building a board now to learning how to reverse engineer, hack, and code.
Yeah.
So my whole learning curve, I'm in that learning phase now. I'm starting to think that the whole market's changing.
Yeah.
So now I'm having to learn how to do code.
Really?
And it's cool, and I'm starting to learn how to like hack the chip in it to unlock it so I can get into it, and then I got to go in there and look for, you know, differences between algorithms and stuff, and source out and go, oh well, this looks different than all this other stuff. I bet you that's the hookup. Then you got to save the file, so if you mess up, you can upload it back, dump the file, try to reload the file and figure out how to edit that and fix that, and then get a test car and go for a ride and go, okay, well, that fixed it, or oh no, that made it worse. Holy crap, it's about to catch on fire. You know, like it's definitely a learning curve.
Are you having more satisfaction, or do you enjoy that more than the traditional repairing the ECUs manually when you're soldering stuff? Or it's kind of comparing apples to oranges. I kind of think that, you know.
Me being an ex-fabricator and me welding, I kind of like the artistic side of bridging circuits and rebuilding circuits and the intricacy. I think it's challenging, but I've become so good. And I'm not trying to toot my horn by any means, but I've become so accustomed and good at doing it that I'm not going to lie. A lot of it now seems more like a chore. Back in the day, I couldn't wait to do it. Now it's like I kind of got to psych myself. But once I get myself to go start doing it, I still enjoy it.
Because it's just less of a challenge because you've done it so many times.
Yeah. Now the newer stuff, though.
Oh, really?
The newer stuff, I'm like, it's like, I'm liking it.
Is there any resistance from the factories in terms of manufacturing? Because I remember, one of my buddies was trying to repair a drill, and like there's a circuit board for the drill, but they actually poured some type of epoxy like all over it.
It's called potting.
Yeah. Is that you come across that a lot? Is that an issue, or?
I've developed ways to remove that.
Oh, really? That's excellent.
Yes. So I have ways to get, not all of it. There's different kinds of potting. Certain potting I can get around. I've worked on some like Kawasaki and stuff, like little modules that go on like crotch rocket sport bikes.
Yeah.
And the bikes, everything's exposed to the elements, so it's all sealed in that stuff.
Yeah.
I've figured out how to get it out there and get down to the board and all that.
So is it more for weathering, or is it to make sure you don't mess with it, or is it just anti-vibration?
Some of it, I think it's to keep you from getting into it more so than anything else, but it kind of weatherproofs it. But then again, they could make a case with O-rings and seals like anything else, and
well, that's also more variables and things that could break.
That, and also I think they want it so when it breaks, you can't get in it to figure out how to fix it, and all, so they can sell you a new one. Because let's face it, designed obsolescence is a real thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I forget that there's a very famous investor who was talking to Elon when he first was getting Tesla realistically off the ground, and he said one of the biggest issues with Tesla, where he did not think the company would succeed, was because they were starting a company from scratch and they couldn't sell spare parts. Because for a traditional legacy automotive manufacturer, been around for 50 plus years, a big part of their revenue does come from supplying old vehicles and selling those old parts. So Tesla didn't have that in the beginning. So that
I
was
never thought about that. Yeah.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, it is. Just opened a door to me.
Oh, exactly. But it's like, they thought Tesla. That was one of the reasons they thought Tesla would fail, because when you're starting those companies, you don't need new parts. I mean, it's all factory new. So that's a huge part of the automotive community. And even, granted, they work with a lot of suppliers. I mean, they work with Bosch, as well as a company you were talking about earlier. Was it Datsun or no? That's
Denso.
Denson. That's what it is. Yeah, 'cause I actually replaced a buddy's Toyota Camry, not Camry, Avalon had a bad air sensor, so we replaced it and worked just like new. But yeah, the one we replaced it was Denso air sensor, mass airflow sensor.
Denso makes good stuff. Denso's like Bosch, though. From being in the industry, you'll start noticing Denso is just this big conglomerate company that buys from smaller companies and just lets it run through their QC. They make all sorts of stuff, but their stuff, if you start looking at it, is that you can actually start figuring out who's actually making it, and Denso just puts their name on it and controls the quality of it. Because, I mean, Denso makes everything from alternators. I mean, the alternators on Ferraris are made by Denso.
Shh, the dealership don't want you to know.
I don't care.
The one that comes in, I've seen those parodies of, like, you know, look at the Lamborghini because it's a Volkswagen owned. It's like, oh, yeah, this is the part from Lamborghini. And the Lamborghini box, like $500. Go online, the Volkswagen store, like $3. It's like, the price discrepancies are huge for exactly the same thing.
It's the same thing with the it's the same thing with the Lexus and the Toyota.
Oh yeah,
I've owned Lexuses over the years, and I go to Toyota and I tell them I got the closest equivalent to it. Buy the parts the same, and it's like, you know, $100 instead of $5,000.
Oh yeah,
and it's the same part, the same box, everything. Actually, if you run the part number on it online, it comes up as both.
Oh really?
Yeah. If you go on a website, what's the website? I have it on my computer at my workshop. Toyo DIY.
Oh, really?
It's a website. It's just a reference website. You can literally put the Toyota part number in, and it'll show you every car that had that part in it.
That's pretty cool.
And what regions got it, and what parts are swappable. It's a really cool database.
That's pretty neat.
It is pretty neat. I recently just found out about it. It would have been a lifesaver years ago, but...
I wonder if in our lifetime with the advancements, I know it's kind of not cliche to talk about it, but one of the hottest topics in manufacturing is always 3D and additive printing. I wonder if we'll ever get to the point where you can actually, I don't know, they'll probably find a way, you know, you pay them like a subscription, and the automotive company will just send you the file, the print file, and you just print a replacement part. That'd be kind of fascinating to see.
That'd be kind of cool. I better not do it on my printer. My printer's a piece of junk.
I can see maybe the dealership's doing it. If you've got a large building, you have one of those big industrial printers or something like that. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how automotive community and automotives in general just keep evolving and going more and more.
If you look up, Papadakis Racing in California, Stefan Papadakis, when the Mark V Supra came out and nobody made parts yet, they got one to tinker with to build a drift car, which became, I believe it became the Rockstar energy drink Supra that was driven, I think Tanner Faust drove it.
Oh, wow.
They 3D printed with a metal 3D printer. It prints metal.
Yeah.
They made the intake manifold, and they 3D printed the turbo manifold.
Those things are insanely expensive, but cool.
It was super cool. I was mind blown.
Have you seen the new 3D printed RC3 Surefire suppressor?
No.
It's completely 3D printed. Same with the Daniel Defense and Huxworks. They're all 3D printing them because you can get the most complex shapes without, you know, because traditionally with suppressors, you have to weld all the different baffles. With 3D printing, you'd have all those complex shapes just out of nowhere. Or,
I actually think my Shadow Arms or Shadow Systems Glock that I have on me.
Yeah.
I think the lower is actually 3D printed.
Polymer 3D printer?
If you look really close at it, there's some areas where around like the texturing and stippling of it, if you look really, really hard and like bright light like we have in here, it almost looks like you can faintly see real tight ridges like where the layers were printed together.
I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it's
I'm not
so convenient.
sure.
It might be.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it kind of looks, if you know what you're looking at, it kind of looks 3D printed. It looks like a 3D printed lower. I mean, the upper is a machined stainless steel upper.
Of course.
But the lower looks 3D printed.
It's gonna be, and then I was thinking, you're telling me you did a couple of 3D printed for your Mark IV Supra as well, right?
I've 3D printed a couple of things for the Mark IV Supra. So I've 3D printed the speaker grills that go on the over the tweeters because they fell apart.
Oh, really?
They're up. You can't buy them no more.
Yeah.
In the dash, up along the windshield, you have the two little oval-shaped tweeters. I remade the grills, little tweeter speaker grills for them. I don't smoke, so I went ahead and took the ashtray out of my Supra. And even if I did smoke, I wouldn't smoke in that car.
Oh, nowadays, no.
No.
That car's worth too much to smoke in.
No, so that there where it was, I took it out, and I was like, well, the Supras don't have cup holders in them. So I designed and made a cup holder that went in place of where the ashtray went. And it's 3D printed. I 3D printed the cup holder that's in there, and it holds my... I go every day down the street from my shop. There's a place that makes like homemade, like actual like boba tea, like green tea.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. And I became friends with Liam, the owner, and I'll say it on the podcast. Hopefully it helps them out. It's called Boba Lush in Murphy, Texas. It's awesome.
I'll have to check them out.
It's really good, and the people there are super nice. It's family owned and stuff. It's a really cool place. Their cup fits perfectly in there. So if I drive the Supra around town or to the shop that day, I can.
That's perfect.
I can put my tea in there, or even this can fits perfectly in there. Water bottle fits in there.
There we go.
Last time I was on the podcast, I just got done having kidney surgery because I had kidney stones. So this is rare. This is the first soda I've drank. I don't know how long, but yeah, my water bottles fit right in there. Ozarka just right in.
There you go. And what's your favorite mod you've done to the car thus far? I know you wrenched on it for a couple of years.
The car, I haven't really modded it yet. I'm still in the phase of putting the motor together. I mean, it's more cosmetic. I guess that's still a mod.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cosmetic mod.
Because you got that nice... I personally love the carbon fiber side skirts.
You like the carbon fiber side skirts?
And the front lip. It pops nice and it complements the purple. It kind of blends into it. Like it doesn't stand out too much. Exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
If I had to pick a part out... I'm not sure what I like more, and it's weird. I don't know if I like... There's 3 things about the car that make me giddy still to this day, but I don't know what one's my favorite. It's the carbon fiber back seat delete.
I like that one.
Where the whole rear of the car is carbon fiber.
Yep.
Or that thing cost me a fortune.
I can't imagine.
Or the Strass Forge custom 3-piece billet wheels on it.
Those look amazing.
Or the custom big brake floating brake rotor, the 2-piece floating rotors with the custom 6-piston calipers. I don't. It's a toss up. I don't know.
They look perfectly to the car.
And then I made billet valve covers for it for the new motor that aren't on that motor there that have their custom CNC billet. They got my company logo engraved in them.
That's gonna be cool.
I'm kind of giddy over that. I can't wait to see what they look like on my motor in my car. It's like
that's gonna be legendary. What kind of turbos you putting on it? How many horsepower you want? Are you chasing a horsepower number in mind, or just want to smile?
I don't really have an exact number in mind, but from knowing past builds with customers and being around this stuff and technology, and still having other buddies that still build Supras and stuff for a living, like my buddy in Houston, James Ward, and all them, and knowing where technology's going and how more efficient turbos are and stuff.
Yeah.
Give or take, I think on pump gas, like 93, my car will probably make 850, maybe 900.
Nice.
Maybe I'm smoking crack. I don't know. I know on E85 ethanol, it'll probably make, 1,000, 1,200, maybe 1,250.
That's going to be insanely cool.
Or something like that. And on race gas, depending on how I do it and what's set up, it should probably make 13, maybe. So I haven't figured out what block I want to use right now. I don't know if I want to use the new Dart block that just came out. They just made a custom Dart block.
Oh, really?
Dart.
Is that the company name or style?
No, the company's called Dart. They used to make big block V8s for the hot rod guys back in the day when my dad was playing with cars.
Yeah.
Now they made the Dart big boy 2J motor. So basically they took the architecture of the 2J because it works. People have been making big power on them for years.
Oh, yeah.
And they found all the weak spots within the 2J that people were updating, and they found out how to update it further. And then they release it as a out of the box. You throw your crankshaft, pistons, rods in it, and this thing's stout.
Nice.
The cylinder wall thickness is a little bit. They got the coolant passage are better. It's a modern day. It's an updated. It's 2J with technology in it now.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool. I don't know if I want to use that, or there's companies that make billet blocks, billet aluminum, that are meant for the street. They got coolant ports through it. Thinking about doing that. Or I just might put it on the I have a bunch of factory low OEM cast iron 2J lowers, which people have made over 1,000 horsepower on them for years. I don't know what I want. So I have all the parts to build it. I'm trying to figure out now what block I want to go, what route I want to go. How hard do I want to put it? Mind you, this is not for a track car. I'm building this to just have a street car and go on the street.
Well, it's good advertising,
and I'm not even talking about street racing. I'm literally talking about, I just want something that if I laid into it, you can, like, you can, like my buddy's car that she rode in, which makes almost 1,000 horsepower, you can hear that faint sound in your head when you know it's coming, that corny song, Take My Breath Away.
Yeah.
I just want it to glue me in the seat and scare the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I get out and start shaking like I got Parkinson's, like shake and bake. And, I think that's what's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's what's fun about the car. I don't, so do I want to go racing on the track? I kind of wanted to go do TX 2K one time.
Yeah.
With this, especially now that they moved up here to Dallas, it's even more convenient. Or the Texas, I think it's called Texas Wanna Go Fast. They do it out at Caddo Mills, where I think one year they had a MiG fighter. So you run on the runway.
Yeah.
So you start at about 60 and they fly a MiG in where he's got like the air brakes on. He's so slow and you line up. And once you pass that, the
What?
MiG starts taking and you run the jet.
What? That
The
sounds
jet
intense.
flies low. Yeah, there's videos of it. It's cool.
That's insane.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool to run a jet
Yeah.
in my Supra. I mean, I love aircraft.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by planes, so I think that's kind of cool.
Definitely.
So I might do that, but for the most part, it's just, like you said, just growing up and not really having anything and never even thinking I'd be fortunate enough to have this. This is not luck. This is being fortunate. It's a lot of work. It's taken me a lot to get to where I'm at. A lot of sacrifice. Shit. I could go on for days, but
People don't realize how many Saturdays and Sundays you don't get when you own a small business. Like, you're still working. The clock doesn't stop at 5 p.m.
shoot, my phone's probably gone off 20 times in the other room over here. That's why I left it over there, so I'm not sitting here being distracted by it. But when I leave here, it's emails and phone calls. But, I couldn't afford it as a kid. I never thought I'd be able to afford it ever.
Yeah.
So, life's short.
True.
And what little bit of enjoyment we get, every now and then. I know a lot of other business guys are like, super duper cutthroat. Like, it's supposed to be work. If you don't work, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
But I started to realize this after my dad passed away, and he wasn't even that old. And some other people I knew, like my buddy Paul that just recently passed away and stuff like that, life's short. So I guess the best way you could put it, the saying that the older people say, is like, sometimes you just got to stop for 5 minutes and smell the roses,
Sure.
So me playing with the car here and there is my 5 minutes of stopping and smelling the roses.
I like it.
I just want to enjoy a little bit. I mean, for hell, why else am I working harder than I've ever worked in my life? What, so I could still drive a boring car and not enjoy nothing? I mean, that'll go on too if like somebody that I was close with that was doing a lot of my marketing and videography for me. I wasn't going to put him in this. I'm not saying his name or his company. Like we were talking about before, I watched you come up from nothing, from sleeping on a couch to, having a couple places to live and, having a collection of cars and taking trips and not caring, and, oh, you're cocky. It's not cocky. Why are we working? Why do you work so hard if you're just going to do the same old, same old? I mean, you got to level up. You got to have fun.
You're talking about your friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, for a second, it sounded like you're talking about me. I'm like, wait a minute. I have my Honda for now.
So it's just a matter of, it's like, back in the day, all I could afford for sale was a Timex. So I wanted a nicer watch. So I started working hard. So I'm losing in other areas of my life. I don't get to go out no more. I'm working extra hard. I'm stressing myself out. I'm going gray. My hair's falling out. Stressing myself. My stress destroys your body. And that's part of entrepreneurship. It's literally falling down, seeing the ground coming at you faster and faster, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
And, so why, if I'm putting myself out there and risking it all and doing that, why am I doing it so I can still live the same way I did working in my comfort zone at my 9-to-5 job? Hell no, I went out and bought Rolex. Hell no, I go out and wear tag watches. Hell no, I drive $100,000 cars. Yeah. Why am I working for it? Those are my rewards for me working my ass off.
Plus, I would also argue Rolexes usually sustain their value. They'll never be worth nothing. You know what I mean?
Especially now, they're like, oh, we're going to need this. The dollar's losing value. Here's my dollar right here.
Yeah, that's a good guy. It's a good guide against inflation. A U.S. dollar is worth less and less every single day thanks to inflation. Rolexes, you can go anywhere on the planet. Everyone knows what a Rolex is. Everyone knows it's a thing of value.
You got to watch out now, though, buying those things. The Chinese are getting, shout out to China. They're getting really, really good at knocking these off to where, like, jewelers that deal with Rolexes are actually looking at them now, and they're having trouble. Like, the quality is there.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
It's weird saying China. No disrespect to Chinese people. They're smart people all over.
Well, there's a reason the iPhone is made there. Their manufacturing process across you look at the global economy, and most of the innovation does come from the U.S. in terms of research and development. But in terms of manufacturing, I mean, look at Foxconn.
They're on top of it.
Yeah, Foxconn is one of the largest companies on the planet the average person doesn't know about. They're the electronics manufacturer behind most of the cool electronics we like the iPhone. And a lot of it's in China. They're actually starting to move over to India, though. Partially because the Indian government said if you want to sell certain products here, you have to have a manufacturing base. So that's why you're seeing a huge explosion in manufacturing for the iPhone over there right now. It's one of the fastest growing markets, too, so it makes sense.
So, I mean, but yeah, so.
And I remember you were telling me a couple stories. How have you helped a couple of guys get into entrepreneurship and take that the big scary leap that so many people are worried to kind of just take that first step?
So it's not so much, I don't know. I guess growing up and going my whole life, childhood growing up, kind of being doubted and laughed at and pointed at and told, you know, I'm ADHD, oh, you'll never make it, you dropped out of school, you're a dipshit loser, you're this and that, you know, and the fact that I'm sitting here talking about how great I've become and how this, you know, what got me here was a lot of hard work and dedication, sleepless nights, basically hypothetically getting kicked in the teeth and curb stomped every day.
Do you ever hear Elon's motivational or demotivational quote about entrepreneurship?
No.
Like, apparently his friend said it, but he's acclaimed to fame for it. He's like, entrepreneurship is like staring into an ocean in an endless abyss and chewing glass.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, there are those nights.
But, you know, and I seen what it's done to me, and I see a lot of these, not even younger guys, like even my wife.
Yeah.
And my wife's older, not much older than me, but my wife's older than me. Like, you know, like, I just, once I realized that everything is just outlook and everything is cause and effect and everything that anybody has the opportunity to do this, if you could just open the door to help somebody, you know, I believe in energy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The energy you put out comes back tenfold. And I'm not doing it for it to come back to me. I feel if we can all come together and everybody can be great, that solves a lot of the problems that we're dealing with in the world right now.
I agree. Help.
So,
yeah.
Everything from health to just everything.
So who was the first guy you kind of helped push in that right direction, so to say?
So when I was living in the first nice, fancy, whatever neighborhood I was living in, a couple years ago, there was a young kid that used to walk. I used to see him walk by the house all the time, and I've always had cool cars and motorcycles and shit, you know, hanging out. Well, I saw the kid walk by, and, you know, I kind of waved to him. Well, one day this kid came up to me, and he's like, hey, man, this is actually when I first got the Supra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I first got the Supra. And it was kind of a turd back then. Like, it was in the beginning. That car was pretty rough. The kid came up. I had just gotten it paint corrected, and the paint was actually starting to look good. Everything else was junk in it. But was it
still silver when you got it? Because I think you painted it purple, right?
No, somebody overseas painted it purple.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Somebody overseas painted it purple. I had a couple things all touched up on it.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, this kid came up. He came up to me, and he's like, can I look at your car? I think he must have been like 14 or something. Maybe. No. Probably like 16 or 17 because he already had a car he was driving. I see him. He had a Ford Probe. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really see him no more. Yeah, he had a V6 Ford Probe.
Good old
Mitsubishi. Super clean.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, and, you know, you could tell he's in the car. He had an exhaust on it, had some rims on it, you know.
Nice.
And his name's Jesus, a little Mexican kid from down the street. He's super cool. Well, anyway, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, dude, I don't know your name, but I always see your car, and I love it. He goes, can I walk in your garage and look at it? I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, it's unlocked. You know, just go look at it. Just, what are you going to do? You're not going to hurt nothing. Go look at the car. So I literally, this kid walks in, and he's all shy. And I think it's kind of cute. I mean, this kid's trembling.
Oh yeah.
He's so excited, and I let him sit in it, and he literally just starts tearing, and he's shaking. He's like, "This is a dream of mine, and I don't think I'll ever have it, and I just want cool stuff." I said, "So what do you?" I said, "Do you work?" He goes, "Yeah, I go to school, and all this." He goes, "I really want to detail cars. I want to wash cars." And I was like, "So go get a bucket.
Yeah.
Go get a sponge." Go get some soap, or I'll give you the soap. I'll give you the bucket and the sponge. So go tell your parents what you're going to go do. I said, come down here. By the time you come back down here, I'll have the car pulled out in the driveway. I'll have the hose turned on, everything, and you can wash my car. How much do you want? He goes, I don't know, like $10. I said, come on, kid. You're going to wash my car for $10?
Yeah.
I said, don't do that. He goes, well, what? I said, how about this? I'll start you out. What's a number you like?
Yeah.
Realistically. He goes, I don't know, like $35. I said, how about this? I'm going to give you $120.
Whoa.
Wash my car.
Yeah.
So this kid comes over, and I said, mind you, there's a right way and a wrong way, but I see your car's clean. He goes, yeah, I watch videos online about doing paint correction. And he's like, I really love this stuff. He goes, he starts talking about YouTubers. You know, I'm not big on YouTube. I don't know. I have my business on YouTube, but I don't really watch YouTube other than, you know, like music videos. Yeah. So the kid goes ahead, and he's sitting here talking about, you know, he even corrected me. He's like, hey, man, you shouldn't use this kind of sponge. You should do this. And I said, tell your dad we're going for a ride. Yeah. And then so I meet his dad. His dad's cool. He's like, yeah, you're taking my son for a ride in his dream car. Yeah, I appreciate you. I said, he's like, where you going? Are we going for a ride? I'm like, no, we're going up to the auto parts store. I'm going to go buy this kid whatever he says is good so he can wash my car and not fuck it up.
There you go.
So I go up, this kid says, you know, you need these, that. This will do polish. I read a review on this, that this isn't that good. And so anyway, we get this bucket, and we get all this thing together. He talks about the 2-bucket method of washing the car and all. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know nothing about that. Yeah. You know? So, you know, don't use this with your wheels. Don't. So this kid, I'm like, okay, this kid's schooling my ass.
Yeah. He's done his research. He's done his homework.
Here you go. Wash my car. So he's out here washing the car. And afterwards, I look at the car, and this car is the cleanest I've ever seen. I'm just like, I'm trying not to show too much of excitement. Yeah. But I'm like, whoa, this thing looks good. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm still learning how to paint correct. I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, that's okay. So he's like, so I wound up giving the kid $200.
Nice.
And I bought him all the stuff. I told him to keep all the stuff.
Yeah.
And all that. And then a couple days later, he comes by. He's like, you ready to wash your car again? I said, yeah. I said, so you want to learn how to do paint correction? Who's going to buy you the buffer, and who's going to buy you buffing pads and all this? And when the soap I got you runs out, okay, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't know. My dad will probably get it. I looked at him. I said, come here. Yeah. So I said, here. I said, sit down with me. The dad knows me at this point. He's cool with his son talking to me. Yeah. I said, sit with me in the garage. And in my old garage at my old place, I had a little couch out there, and I had a little TV on the wall. So we're sitting there watching YouTube, and I'm talking with the kid, and I'm like, hey. I'm like, you know I have the Supra, right? And I'm like, you see all these fancy cars, right? And he goes, yeah, they're expensive. How do you get it? I'm like, by valuing my time. Yep. I said, he's like, what do you mean? I said, value my time. I said, I'm good at something, and I solve problems, and I charge people money for it, and then I take the money and I invest it into it so I can solve bigger problems and become better. It's like, what? I said, instead of asking your dad for the money for the soap, and instead of asking your dad for this, I said, if you want this, asking your dad for money isn't going to get you this. Yeah. I said, so here's what you need to do. You got Facebook, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you got Instagram, right? Yeah. I said, your dad's paying for that iPhone bill, right? He's like, yeah, dad kind of wants me to start paying my own phone bill. I'm like, all right. I said, you got the world at your fingertips. I said, so use that phone as a tool instead of a toy. Yep. And you'll start seeing. I said, so make a little page. You can make videos or pictures of my car before and after. Yeah. I'll let you watch my other before and after. Post it. And I showed him how I used to market for my e-commerce company. I used the same strategy. And I showed him, and next thing you know, this kid's got cars lined up in his dad's driveway. And he saw him like, how much? He's like, I charge $50 a whole wash. I said, no, kid. I said, minimum $100.
Yeah. Got to think about buying new materials.
I said, you got to buy new materials and you
Yep.
got to cut in for your time. He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, you're never going to get this time back, kid. I said,
Sure.
we're all slowly dying. You're dying, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I said, make it worth your while. I said, what the heck are you going to buy with $50?
True.
30 of that's in soap. I said, that leaves you with $20. What are you going to go do? Get a hamburger and a Coke? I said, you're never going to own a Supra with that, kid.
Yep.
I said, $100, base price. He goes, I said, they want paint correction? You learn it? I said, charge accordingly.
Yep.
I said, never lower your price for anything. I said, not all money's good money. If they
True.
value you and you do a good enough job and you sell this job and,
Yep.
and you can present yourself and you can actually deliver on what you say, people that value quality, they're not going to bat an eye. They're going to want to support you, and I want to support you. I said, so next thing, this kid, now he owns Chewy's Auto Detail, and this kid's driving around. He's 20 years old now. He paid his parents' bills off. This
Nice.
kid, last time I talked to him, I think I said the kid's making like $10,000 a month.
That's exceptionally great.
That's
Yeah.
$100,000 a year, and the kid's 20
incredible.
years old, and he's self-employed.
Yeah.
He's got an LLC. He's got
Nice.
he's got himself a CPA. He's got the kid's going. He calls
Yeah.
me periodically, like, hey, dude, I got a customer doing this. What can I do? And I just walk him through it. I became like his older brother, man.
That's awesome.
And it's a good feeling. And I don't want nothing out of it. I just want people to be better.
A lot of people, a lot of people don't realize all it takes is just take that one step.
Also, he went out and paid cash. He got a brand new Volkswagen Golf GTI too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he ain't driving a Probe no more.
Right?
Yeah, he went out. He bought pressure washer. I think he even bought a truck to go out and
There
do
you go.
detail, and so he could put like
Like
pressure
like a
washer
mobile
in
detail.
it. Yeah, mobile detailing.
Nice.
He's got all
That's
his
a good idea.
waxes and all that. The kid's growing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
shit. If the kid keeps going the way he's going, he's gonna make me look freaking like a loser.
Right.
Like, this kid's killing it. And then a young kid used to work for me named Colin.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to learn how to weld and do all this, so I told him, and he wanted to try doing his own business. So and he was into electronics as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I helped him start up a little cell phone repair company. He was fixing cell phones. Problem is he found out this life isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Turns out he's a better entrepreneur, and entrepreneur are people that grow within companies instead of creating companies.
Yeah.
He's raising up. He's a dealer tech at
cool.
a Chevy dealership.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old, and he's got like several like ASE master certifications.
Nice.
I think he's like working right underneath the foreman in the dealership. This kid's killing. He's a smart dude.
How old is he?
Huh? I think Colin's like 24 or 25.
He's already moved that up that much?
Yeah, that kid's flying,
That's
dude.
incredible.
It's great. But a lot of these kids, what they forget to say, and even my wife and stuff, I try to inspire other people to do things because I realize I made it, and I just want good for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a business guy, and a lot of people look at me, oh, you're cocky. Deep down inside, I want everybody to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I want everybody to have Rolexes and Ferraris and shit. I want people to cruise with.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I don't, and with the car stuff, because most of the people I know in business, we're all motivated by cars.
Oh, yeah.
There's no age or religion or anything. We're car guys.
Yeah.
You're a car guy. You're part of the family. Let's roll.
You're a gearhead.
know?
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's hard. Like, a lot of people see me and they're like, hey, what do you do? And this, and they're like, oh, I wish. I'm like, stop wishing, just go out and do it. And they're like, well, I don't know what I'm good at. Find something you're good at and do it. Here, take down my number. Call me if you need help. I've become passionate about it. Probably should start charging money for this stuff. But, like, the biggest thing I find with trying to help the younger generation or the older generation is to get people to break out of this social hierarchy and to just think outside the box. I mean, it's a hard thing to sell is, you're going to have no fun. When you start, you're not going to see no money. You're going to work your ass off. You're not going to have nothing. You're going to stay up all night.
Yeah.
Your friends are going to laugh at you, doubt you. Eventually, they're going to fall off.
You might lose money for years.
You're going to do all that. I mean, that doesn't sound fun at all. That's a hard ticket to sell now, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a big risk.
But if you go in it, it's rewarding.
Oh, 110% agree.
It's rewarding. I mean, shit.
There's no better feeling than that risk.
There's no better feeling than knowing that if my boss is an asshole, it's because I've talked bad to myself in the mirror.
Exactly.
And I try to just push that. Like my wife, she started White Lotus Body Essentials. She's making skincare products and stuff, and I'm teaching her marketing and helping. I work closely with her, more so than these other guys. I mean, that's my wife. These other people, I help them get started. But like, you want real stuff, you better start listening to podcasts and stuff. I don't have all the time in the life to help you, but I honestly, just deep down inside, that's just who I am. I just want to help people. I like solving problems, and I feel everybody has a purpose. And I feel that everybody has their goods and their bads, and I think that we should use them to the best of our abilities and do good things with it. Why be mediocre? Why be average?
True.
Average is that socialized zombie that marches to the beat of the drum. Go make your own music, dude. Like, get out there and start jamming, dude, and watch other people follow. Like, you be the leader. I just want everybody. It's even, another person I know like me, and we've talked, is David Chuckman that was on here with your pod. I've called him in the past, and he's led me. It's kind of, I believe in that. What goes around comes around, and that passing it on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's even with the auto stuff. I've made some videos on my YouTube channel showing people how to like rebuild certain starters and stuff. People are like, dude, you could charge money for that. I charge not enough money for enough.
Yeah.
You got to give a little bit back. Some old guy, crotchety old hot rod biker back in the day sat me down. Hey, son, we're going to do this today. You got to pass it on a little bit.
Agree.
Because otherwise it dies off. And, unfortunately, I don't have kids to pass this on for. So if I could make 50 new entrepreneurs that lead the world and inspire other people, I'm doing my part.
Make the world a heck of a lot better place.
I'm doing my part. I feel that it's my duty as a human being who's been blessed, for lack of a better word, with this ability that, it's kind of my duty. It's paying it forward.
Agree.
It's paying it forward. You can't be greedy. Greed gets you nowhere.
No, I don't think so.
So, if it's even with like some of the services that I discontinued for my business, I've made videos after I'm done making my money off of it. I've made videos on how to do it, so other people, I'm no longer doing it. Somebody else can pick up where I did. Maybe they can make money off of it.
There you go. That's true.
You just got to pay it forward. You can't be greedy.
Agree.
You got to help everybody.
And then how's things going outside the office? What do you like to do for fun these days?
Play with guns.
There you go. And what was the new one you called again? Get called?
It's Shadow Systems. It's basically a modified revision of a Glock 19.
I was gonna say it looks really cool. It feels good in the hand. Have you gotten to go?
I haven't gotten to shoot it yet.
No.
No, I'm anxious. Me and you should go.
I'd be down. It looks like a newer company. I was checking out their website a couple days and you were telling me about them.
It's pretty cool. They're in Plano, Texas, so it's like right down the street from my place.
Heck yeah. Support local base. Is the barrel threaded from the factory or no?
That one there isn't. The model right up from that one is. They have several models, but the model up from mine, the competition, mine's the one right underneath the competition. So mine has all the things that the competition has, except for some of the machining is just ever so slightly different on the upper, and mine doesn't have a threaded barrel. At least I don't think it does. I don't think mine has a threaded barrel, because the one online I see with the threaded barrel.
I think yours is flush, actually.
I think mine's flush. Yeah, mine's flush. Mine doesn't have a threaded barrel. Playing with cars, collecting watches.
You ever gonna go down the path of getting yourself a suppressor for it?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
It's so much fun.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I was shooting a little while back. FNX 30 or 45 suppressed. It's almost miserable to shoot without it on, because less recoil, less noise. I mean, it's so much easier to shoot. You're not anticipating the big bang. Like I almost rarely shoot unsuppressed these days. Pretty much everything I shoot has a can on it. And it's not too bad of a wait time.
How much does it muffle? I've never shot one. A lot.
So last time a tech company had an event, we did a shoot full auto suppressed security fears, and before we started the big guns, we had a suppressed Ruger, what was it, 22-45 light. We had that suppressed with subsonic ammo, and we rent out the whole bay. So we got the whole bay to ourselves, and we got the range officer's green light. He's like, yeah, you guys can all take your earmuffs off to shoot the 22 suppressed. We all took our earmuffs off. Poop, poop. The loudest noise is the sound of the bolt going back and forth. It was that quiet of a shot. It was like an airsoft toy. And then of course it's 22 as well, but there's like no recoil. And the suppressor is a heavier suppressor, so that also helps make it so it's even less recoil.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's worth every penny. I mean, the tax stamp's still $200, which stinks. But thankfully, it wasn't passed with the inflation clause. So when they passed the law in 1934, they didn't have like a clause that said this price will be adjusted for inflation. So that's why you see so many people. One of the reasons you see so many people buying cans these days is the burden of that tax has become less and less thanks to inflation. Granted, you still have to pay, sales tax on it and do the passport ID, the fingerprint, and all the paperwork process. But the process it used to be like 9 months for the paperwork process with the U.S. Treasury and the ATF and all that stuff. Apparently, it's gotten down to like days.
That's cool.
So I'm tempted. I really want to get a 3D printed one because the designs that they've been able to do is so much more effective and there's so much less back pressure. So that way you don't have all that gunk going in your face, especially when you're shooting like a piston rifle. Because then again, I mean, all the gas is going in your face. With the new design suppressors, it's even less.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, we definitely gotta hit the range sometime. I'm surprised you don't have any machine guns yet. Those are really fun.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. That sounds a lot of fun.
It's like a Rolex. They don't go down in value because, I mean, the law's not. I don't think the law would change in our lifetime because the machine gun had to be manufactured and registered with the U.S. government before 1986.
Yeah.
So that limits the supply dramatically, and everyone wants one. Well, a lot of people want one. So like a transferable AR-15 is like literally like 30 to 60 grand, and I don't think that price is going to go down anytime soon.
Just guns in general.
Oh yeah, it's a good. I mean, most guns will hold their value they're pretty stable as long as you don't abuse it and break it dramatically.
Get most a bunch of holster wear on it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Clap it all out,
Yeah.
But
it's not too bad. I'm sorry I cut you off there. What else do you like to do? Or what else are you up to outside the office?
I don't know. Just collect watches.
There you go.
Big fan. We talked last time on the last podcast. I love watches.
Yeah. Do you have a dream one in mind that you're saving up for, or something that you're really aspiring to get?
What do I want? I kind of want a AP Royal Oak.
Oh, really?
An Admir's.
I haven't heard that brand yet. I get it.
Dude, it makes this Rolex look like a freaking Timex, dude.
Really?
It's nice. We're a Patek.
I know that brand. I know those are extremely high quality.
The Patek, the one that I was looking at that I like, I think it's like $60,000.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I'd be too worried about
these here. Shit, I just saw one of these used for sale when we were at a jewelry store. Me and my wife and her mom. I think this was selling for like 20
for Submariner.
For an older sub. This is a smaller face.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is a 40 millimeter. You can't get them in 40 millimeter no more. They're all 41 millimeter now.
Oh my gosh.
So people want the older. It's just that heritage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, I was gonna say nostalgia.
I mean, this one's
heritage.
not even that old. I mean, this one's a 2022.
I mean, to me, it looks new, but I'm also pretty limited in my Rolex knowledge. I just know the Submariner is the most popular. Oh, to me, the one I would want would be, if I were to get a Rolex, would be that model, just because I think that's one of my favorite ones.
This is a Submariner date with the ceramic bezel.
I like that one.
Stainless steel oyster perpetual band, oyster band on it, and then it's just polished stainless up here. Inside, some of the machining in there, I believe, is white gold, and then I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. And then it's got the Rolex movement in it, so it's got the rupees and stuff inside of it.
In terms of manufacturing, it's crazy. Like, of all the products we own, like in a modern culture, modern society, I think Rolex is the only company where they all they do is they buy the raw materials and they make every component in-house.
Everything is made in-house.
That's insane. Like,
and assembled by hand.
Yeah. I mean, name one other product.
I wish it was like high-end cars that are like Koenigsegg, where the assembler like engraves his name. It would be cool to know who put it together.
I'm surprised they don't do that.
I'm surprised they don't. Hey, Rolex, maybe.
Yeah.
No, but it's a nice watch. I really like it.
I mean, it's a work of art, too. I mean, like you were saying, it's hand-assembled. It's a timeless design.
The next one I'm looking to get is a Day-Date, or
really?
Rolex Day-Date, like simpler, more dressy looking.
Yeah.
Kind of want like a white gold Day-Date with maybe a little bit of stones in it or something.
Dude,
something when
nice.
we're going out to eat. This is more like
utilitarian.
T-shirt, don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's funny if people aren't into watches or they're not time enthusiasts, but like, I remember talking to my friends who, again, like when it comes to luxury, really high-end watches, I mean, to me, my parents, a Rolex is the pinnacle of watches, nothing better, because their whole life, that's what they know culturally in terms of like a time movement. But like when it comes to watch collectors, Rolex is almost like an entry level into the category. Because again, like you were saying,
I think Rolex
Patek will be like 60K plus.
I think Rolex, depending on what one you get, I think that's middle of the road.
Yeah.
I think like Tag and like Omega, those are more like high end entry level. Mm-hmm. More so Tag and then stuff.
Because don't tags again ballpark around $2,000, give or take.
My tag that I normally wear during the day, it's a I think it's a special edition. At least that's how it was sold to me. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't plan on selling it. I like it. It's a red silicone band, stainless steel body with a anodized red machined stainless steel face.
Oh, nice.
And it's got the tachometer in it, so it's got all the different face. That one there was with tax. I think it was like a hair over $2,000.
That sounds about right for anecdotally speaking, what I've seen, just like looking at window shopping and seeing it throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. I think that's $2,000. And I have another tag that's simpler. It's just stainless steel. It almost looks like similar to this, but it's a lot simpler and it's just really classy looking. It's just a regular Formula One Tag Heuer Formula One. It's with the date in it. It nothing special. It's a battery watch. It's not a winder and stuff. I think I paid $1,300 or $1,400 for that one.
What are your thoughts on do you like the really complex movements or like the Jacob & Co. where it's almost like I know they have the one where it's like it looks like the Bugatti when it has the engine cylinders going up and down.
From an ex-machinist, which is what I am, I like the intricacy and I think it's cool. And me being a car guy, I think it's neat, but I think that watch is hideous.
Oh, really?
And I think it's like $40,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, something like that.
I think Jacob & Co. doesn't he? I think that's his name. My knowledge about watches are moderately limited. But I think that's like the most expensive commercial watch you can get these days. But of course, to me, I kind of lose interest when like all the value is in it being bedazzled. Like I appreciate the cost of something if it's put into like the engineering of it.
And then there's some other watches out there that don't really hold value. At least I don't think so. But they're still well built and nice. And me just being a watch guy, I think they're still cool, like Panerai and other stuff like that. And tags, certain tags kind of hold value. Most tags kind of fall through the floor. They're like Aston Martins. They're beautiful. They're well built, but they don't hold value.
No.
But, like I said it like earlier, every now and then you need to stop smell the roses. Who cares about asset? I mean, you got to have assets. Yes, that's how you beat inflation. I mean, stay on top of the game. But, some things you just need to buy where it has no intent on ever being sold. You just buy it because it's something you like. And that's how the tags are for me.
I agree.
I just like them. It's for me. I don't care if you like it or not. I don't care if it makes me look like a baller. I don't care. I like it. It's for me. It's even like this. I don't care. I don't care. I could have gone out and bought a Submariner, what they call a bluesy. Yeah. Which is like the one that David Chuckman has, and I really like it. It's white. It's the same watch, but this is white gold, and then it's yellow gold in the middle, and then it's got yellow gold around the bezel, and it's like blue in the bezel, and it's all like this really beautiful, like royal blue, metallic blue inside. It's gorgeous. Yeah. But I like this one. I got this one. And everyone's like, oh, it's simpler. You should have gotten the bluesy. I got what I like. I buy what I like. I like it. I'm not here to...
It's all about personal preference, man. Yeah.
It goes back to even like with the business stuff. Like I tell these other kids too, they're like a lot of them, or not even kids, or even my wife, stop, other people, when they tell them you're starting a business, they laugh at you or they try to talk you out of it, Then people like to put their limitations and their opinions on other people. And a lot of times other people take it to heart, and inadvertently you're letting somebody else who's totally irrelevant live your life for you. I don't care what other people do. I do what I want.
That's the way to do it.
If I like it, I like it. If you don't like it, fuck, don't look at it. Don't ride in it. Don't drive it. Don't ask me about it. Don't ask to borrow it.
Exactly.
Cool. You got me. That's mine.
Exactly.
Not everybody likes drinking Coca-Cola. Some people like Pepsi. Am I not going to be your friend because of it? Yeah. It's your choice.
Exactly.
So.
Agree. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, Josh. Really appreciate it, buddy.
No problem, bud.
Ever go to relentlessmotorsports.com if you want to learn a bit more. I'll put in the little description here. Also, thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Don't forget to take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Feedback is always appreciated. Also, don't forget to tell your family. I also especially appreciate if you don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and have a great night.
Hey, don't cut it off yet.
Oh, yeah?
Like one of the podcasts I listen to all the time, and it helps me a lot. Andy Fuseli, MF CEO, Real AF. He says, don't be a host, share the show. Just pass it around. Help people, man. That's how we're growing. We talk a lot of things and get censored and stuff. This doesn't fit with the narrative that's going on in the world today. So we need all the help we can get, man. Yeah, people, share this man's show, man. Get this guy out there. I don't even care if you get me out there. Get him out there.
Thanks,
anyway,
Daniel.
man, I appreciate you.
Thanks again, man. You have a great day. Stay safe. And again, subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Topping Talks.